Hello, how is everybody today? This is
Hello, hello,
Melina from
hello.
this is Melina from How's Your Mental Health with Melina and Beth. we
And of course,
are
we had to celebrate Easter a little bit. We're going through the grocery store line. It's like, oh, rabbit ears, rabbit ears. And Melina goes, purple rabbit ears, purple rabbit ears.
For those who don't know, my favorite color is purple. um Now we are being a little bit silly at the beginning because the topic that we have today is very, very serious.
Extremely serious.
Yeah. And I want to start out by saying number one, we are not mental health professionals by no means. We are just two friends, heart sisters, who want to discuss things that not only mentally illness people, mental health issues, but everyday folks deal with. Okay.
Yeah. So if we can help you in the least, oh, don't forget to run the ticker with your email
Oh
at the bottom.
yes.
If we can do anything to help, whether it's just be a friend, try to get you information to assist you if you have questions about stuff, and just don't, like
Don't
she
feel like
said,
you're alone.
yeah, don't feel like you're alone, and we can try to. We may not know a lot of things, but we know who to call that does know a lot of things. So
If we don't know who to call, we can find out.
yeah, we'll find out, but we'll try to help you all that we can, and the day's topic is going to be tough.
Yeah.
So
If you feel triggered, stop the video immediately. Okay. I don't want the views. I don't want the subscribing things if it hinders your own health. Okay. Um, your health and well being is at topmost priority. Okay. And here I'm having a hot flash.
that's what I was getting ready to think that I was too. I'm hoping I'll be all right sitting here for a minute.
I might have to turn my fan on.
I like the shirt.
I do too. I wonder who got it. um, but the topic is abuse, and I have some statistics from the Center for Family Justice, and just a little background. I did do some research on this, and it is throughout the United States. Each I guess state has their own chapter, sort of like NAMI, which is the National Allegiance for Mental Illness. So of course, when we go over the statistics, please keep in mind that these here are what has been reported. Some abuse goes unreported, unfortunately. Whether it's going to be the domestic violence, the sexual assault, or the child abuse that is later on down. Um, we will go through it a little bit quickly because I don't want to linger on one thing, but I do want to add before we start that even though it says domestic violence, um, if you are being controlled by anyone, in my own opinion, Beth, could you look up the definition of abuse? Um, if you're being controlled by anyone, that's abuse, in my opinion. Okay. Whether it's through physical violence, whether it's through financial hardship, whether it's through manipulation, whatever. It's just nobody has the right to control somebody else. And that includes friends, that includes coworkers, that includes parents of adult children with their parents. I mean, it's just a broad spectrum. And I know you hear a lot about the domestic violence or the child abuse or whatever, and I see that. And let's see here. A corrupt practice or custom, that is the violation of electoral abuses, improper or excessive use of treatment, which is drug abuse, language that condemns or Beth, you're going to have to read that. My eyes are not.
Language that condemns or vilifies, usually unjustly, intemperamentally, and angrily. Number 4, physical maltreatment. 5, obsolescence, which is like deception. And I
Right.
love it when these little
Things pop up.
pop up. No, thank you.
Okay, so that's pretty much, I guess, what I say is nobody has the right to control somebody else. Wouldn't you
Right.
say?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, and a lot of people don't even think about the financial, I mean, you hear in the domestic violence situation where the spouse or partner wouldn't let the wife or husband work or whatever. But adult children can become payees for their parents, and they can become financially abusive toward their parents. If you have a payee because of mental health issues or physical issues, that payee can become financially abusive. I mean, it's just withholding funds for things that you actually need. And maybe if you have it, some things you want. It's just a very broad spectrum. It's not just physical, sexual, verbal. I mean, there is a whole list a mile long of different things, different types of abuses there is. Okay, I'm going to put this here up, or try to. And this here is the statistics that I was talking about. Okay, and I'm going to look on my own screen because it's bigger and my eyes aren't wanting to cooperate today.
Yeah, it's a little small for everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might have to just read that one on your end.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Domestic violence statistics. A person is abused in the United States every 9 seconds. Can you imagine? The time we have been spent on this video has already been 7 minutes. Think of how many seconds that is. One person has been abused for every 9 seconds. That's scary. And it says on average, 3 women are killed by a current or former intimate partner each day in the United States. Again, that's what's been reported, and again, it's not only women who can be killed by their partner or their abuser, men can too. Men are just not as inclined to report it because of the society that we live in. But we have to remember that men can be abused just as easy as women can. And I have an example on that. My stepfather, his first wife was very abusive. She was an alcoholic, and she would run around the house with a meat cleaver after him.
Oh my goodness.
And that's abusive. Very much abusive.
Take that screen down, Melina, while you talk.
Okay.
That's horrible to think of somebody doing that.
And Daddy, he would have the night terrors, and night terrors are worse than nightmares, because night terrors, you can act like you're awake, but you're still dreaming. You're still in that nightmare, even though you're awake. And he would actually end up waking up and choking my mom, thinking that she was his ex-wife and he was trying to get away from her. So, I mean, just because you leave the situation doesn't mean it's always over, because you have to deal with the aftermath of it. Okay. But that is just one example of how men can be abused by women, and I mean, I love my daddy. He's very precious to me. Okay. And it also says, and I hate that it only has women up here, but I had a hard time finding anything that put both men and women under the domestic violence. 1 in 4 women have experienced severe physical violence. 1 in 4 victims of intimate partner violence identify as gay or lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and it's just it doesn't matter, it just doesn't matter. Abuse is not, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care. And 66% of female stalking victims are stalked by a former or current intimate partner. And I have to say again, women can be stalkers too. And I'll take again my stepfather as an example. When he and my mom were married for at least 3 or 4 years, his ex-wife would find our phone number and call the house, saying that she was going to commit suicide if he didn't come back to her, and all this other bullcrap, and it was just unreal. So, and we never knew how she got our number because we always had it unlisted. And at that time, there were no cell phones or anything like that where you could track numbers. So I grew up in the prehistoric age of cell phones. But Daddy went through a lot, and my mom in turn went through a lot. So it's just, it affects everything.
Did you say you grew up with Barney Rubble?
No, I did not.
Oh, I heard something about Stone Age.
I did not. I said prehistoric cell phone age.
I grew up with Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. I like them.
Well, I grew up with the cartoon, yes. You
Okay.
grown up with the actual people, though.
Okay.
Had to lighten the mood a little bit here and there.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's see here. More than 15 million children witness domestic violence each year in the United States, and that's just the United States. That's not in the other countries,
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot. 3,500 to 4,000 children witness fatal family violence annually in the United States. So, I mean, it's just, and this is the family violence. It don't even say domestic violence, Family violence could be uncle to sister, uncle to aunt, or brother to sister. It's just says family violence. So whatever your definition of family is,
mm-hmm.
Now we go on to the sexual statistics. Seeing as I'm reading it, should I still put it up, Beth?
No, I wouldn't, because like I
Okay.
said, it's hard for us to see it.
Right. Sexual violence statistics. And if you want to research this yourself, it is centerforfamilyjustice.org. And you just click on that site and you go to community and you click on statistics, and it'll just drop this whole thing down for you. And the sexual statistics. Now, I like this here because it does include the men. 1 in 4 women and 1 out of 6 men are sexually abused in their lifetime. Now, again, these statistics are, in my opinion, not as accurate because men and women don't always report being abused. So this here is just on what's been reported. Okay. In 8 out of 10 cases, the victims know their attacker. And 1 in 4, bisexual women will experience sexual violence. 2 in 5 gay men will be sexually abused. Nearly 6 out of 10 sexual assaults occur in the victim's home or the home of a friend, relative, or neighbor. Which means, again, if it's a neighbor, it's not even family. It's not partner. It's not a husband doing whatever to the wife. It is whatever, whomever. Okay? And that's I want to get that across. You don't have to be in a relationship, whether it's you don't have to be in a relationship partner-wise. Boss to employee, employee to employee, clergy to congregation, whatever, friend to friend, whatever type of relationship it is, whoever is in your circle of people, if anyone in your circle of people is trying to control you, that person is trying to abuse you. Let's see, child abuse statistics. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. Again, we've been going for 15 minutes now. How many seconds is that? That's
a lot.
I mean, that's a report. That means one individual report. 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 7 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they are 18. And again, that could be even worse if we go to think how many does not actually report it. More than 4 children die each day because of child abuse. More than 90% of child sexual abuse victims knows their attacker. Everybody says that when I was growing up, we had that stranger danger stuff going on. But what about your teacher? What about the neighbor across the street? Nobody ever warned my generation of those people, and it was always stranger danger. But I do know from previous research, and you can research it yourself if you want, that only 2% of child abuse, sexual abuse, rape for children is from a stranger. Just 2%. Correct. So, and let's see, about 30% of abused or neglected children will later abuse their own children. And I know that I have an issue with that one because, as I've said, I've had trauma in my past and I wasn't the best parent. But just because you're abused doesn't give you the right to abuse others. It is not an excuse for you to abuse others. And I'm afraid some people use it that way. Oh, I treat them like that because I was. It's not an excuse. And I'm sorry if I sound harsh on that, but I don't like using my past trauma for my everyday actions because I choose what I do now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to end with a couple of things. Number one, if you're being abused, and I'm going to tell you some personal stuff about myself, how I know this, okay? Either you leave your situation, no matter how hard and difficult it may be, you got to get out of it, because if you don't, you will die, either at your own hand or at your abuser's hand. Because now I'm going to disclose some stuff about myself. Now, I was abused from little on up. I got away from my abusers, my mom and my brother, and then I reconnected with my mom, and she told me that everything had changed. I was an adult now, and I figured I can handle it. I'd gone through some counseling. I could handle it. If she's changed, then everything will be okay. So I went back home. And that was in 2012. Everything started back up again. The minute I knew that things had not changed was when my mom had hurt my feelings, and she apologized immediately, and she wanted a hug, and I didn't feel like giving her a hug at that time, but she forced the hug because she says if I didn't hug her, that meant I didn't forgive her. And that told me right there that once again, I had no control over my own body. And in 2017, I took an overdose of pills. I almost died. I was in a coma at UNC Chapel Hill for 4 days. I was in ICU after I woke up another 3 days. When I woke up, I couldn't speak, could hardly walk. couldn't use my hands, and I love to write. My mind was well intact, but I couldn't do anything. Thankfully, everything came back. I do have some lasting residual effects of it that I have to live with, but instead of getting out, and I had therapists that told me, if you want out, I can help you. But I was like, no, it would hurt my mom's feelings. Well, it almost killed me. So you have to choose you. Okay? You have to choose you. Because if you don't, you won't survive. And if I had died in 2017, I would have missed out on so much. I would have never known that I can live on my own independently. I would have never known that I can have a vehicle. I would have never known my dog Rocky, never known Beth. Beth would have never known me. You know, I mean,
You'd have never known you could have done a talk show.
and you guys wouldn't have the privilege of hearing us. I mean, it's just, if I had succeeded, so much would not have happened. You know, Beth would still be fumbling through life trying to learn patience.
That ain't ever gonna happen, I don't think.
But it's just, you've got to really choose yourself. Okay, Beth, can you put up that poem?
Yeah, before I put that up, I didn't tell you I was gonna do this, but because I don't like to talk too much about it, but I was in a abusive relationship about 15 years ago. And as soon as there was an opportunity that I sold my house to move in with them, it was like I got the rug stripped out from under me, because then there went my safety net. And it was emotional to where I was hitting my own self and pulling out my hair. And a friend of mine noticed I had bruises on my chest one day at work, and she started to ask me what was going on, and then she backed off and she said, "Whatever it is, you need to get out of it now and get away from it." And then it wasn't a few weeks after that, I got hit upside the head about 5 times. And when I got hit upside the head, I took them and slammed them against the closet to get them off of me. And I realized right then and there I could really hurt this person. And I thought, it's time to quit this. It's time for me to quit trying so hard when nobody else was trying hard, and quit taking this abuse and putting up with this crap. So it wasn't too long after that I made arrangements. But it was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Glad it's done. I learned a great deal from it. I will never be put in that situation again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was tough.
Well, it is tough. It's a tough situation. It's tough when you don't have, or you feel like you don't have the resources to be able to stop it. So yeah, it is a tough. There is no roundabout. So.
Well, and see, and I didn't want the stigmatism of anybody knowing it,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just, I like to be able to handle my shit better than that, you know?
Yeah, but it's not you. It was the other person, you know.
I know, but that's still tough to chew on, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway.
That's why next week's topic is forgiveness.
Yeah. We've already talked about for forgiveness. We got to pick something else. Hadn't we?
I don't think so.
I think we have. You'll have to go back and check.
We've
All right.
done patience.
There you go, dear.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to go ahead and read this, or try to anyway. Survivor's Psalms. I have been victimized. I was in a fight that was not a fair fight. I did not ask for the fight. I lost. There is no shame in losing such fights. I have reached the stage of survivor and am no longer a slave of victim status. I look back with sadness rather than hate. I look forward with hope rather than despair. I may never forget, but I need not constantly remember. I was a victim. I am a survivor. And that's what I hope each and every one of us who have to go through something like that can say today or in the future. You want to add anything, Beth?
No, it's tough, but always reach out to a friend. If you know a counselor, contact folks at your local, what's it, outreach, or what
Your
are some?
local mental health facilities, because
Okay.
they don't always have the same places as we do.
Okay.
So it's your local mental health facilities, whatever they may be. If you don't know who they are, you can even go to the hospital or the police station and they can help you. There are avenues in which you can take. And there is no shame in asking for the help. So, again, I hope you all are going to stay safe. If this has triggered you at any point, please again reach out to your local mental health facilities, reach out to the suicide prevention hotline, and if you have to, reach out to 911. That's what they're all there for. They're all there to help.
Or drop Melina an email at the email address below, and she'll get back with you.
If you're in an emergency situation, seek the emergency help, because I will not see that email right away.
But I meant if they just need somebody. All right.
Okay. I hope you all stay safe. Have a great day. Bye.
Be good to you.